Welcome back to the channel, people. In this lesson we're going to be looking at 3D forms in art, okay, or 3D forms. So lesson 18, what is 3D forms? Why is 3D forms important? What does it mean to create a 3D form? So just looking on the screen to the right, we have an image. Now we can see that the image is basically a bunch of shapes. So we've got a cylinder, a sphere, cone, and looks like to be a square or it looks like a rectangle on the bottom with sort of a pencil or something leaning on top there. So without the shading, without the tonality, without the dark contrast to the black and the white, if these images were just outlined with a thin black line and then an empty fill, then we'd have a 2D appearing image. It would not appear 3D. So why is 3D important? Well, if you want your drawing to look lifelike, then you have to incorporate three-dimensionality. And the way you do this is through tonality. And going back to earlier lessons, if you apply the lessons that we learned from shading, from basically discovering light and angles and evaluating where light comes from, how it affects an object, these principles are basically how we come to a 3D image. And now we've got various forms of 3D art. So for example, based on the last lesson, we could create a sculpture whereby you have a physical 3D object which is undisputably 3D. However, when we're dealing with 2D artwork, for example drawings on paper, you have to basically with skill create a three-dimensional visualization or representation or an illusion effectively, because nothing on paper is actually 3D. It's just a drawing which may appear 3D, and the only way to do this is by understanding somewhat. You've got to understand geometry. Most importantly, you've got to understand light and how it affects your object, because it's the light which creates the 3D aspect of something. If everything was illuminated with an equal amount of photons, all angles and at all sides and at all times, everything would just look flat. It is the presence and the absence of light which gives things its 3D properties. Okay. There's not much really to say in this lesson apart from just look at some examples of some 3D artwork, some 3D drawings. I mean, let's take it a little bit further. Let's look at 3D illusions, because this really sort of takes it a little bit further, because we've simply got a drawing, a pencil drawing, which looks incredibly 3D. It looks like a bunch of blocks on a piece of paper, but it's just a piece of paper. Okay, and we can really then start to explore three-dimensional shapes, objects, illusions when we sort of understand these key concepts in creating 3D forms. It's the light, it's the contrasting light and the absence of light, and the highlighting and shadows which create this 3D effect. So all I want you to do today, people, is to go into your sketchbook, create a title, 3D forms in art, and then just pick one of these shapes, like a geometric shapes. So this is quite a good example. You could pick one of these shapes on here. For example, I don't know why my screen keeps doing that. It's very frustrating to say the least. Stay there. Anyway, I want you to pick a shape, whether it's a circle. In fact, I'm going to draw this for you. So what I want you to do is the following. I'm going to do this like a pro, because I'm just going to do it like this with one hand, barely even looking, but you're going to create this triangle, okay? If you slow the video down, you'll be able to copy me exactly. Otherwise, figure it out, go on YouTube, type it in, and you'll be able to do it. So this here is basically a 3D triangle, okay? And it looks something like this. So if we just create our triangle to begin with, okay, so there we've got the triangle. Okay, the triangle is inside, and this is the inner triangle. Okay, so what we want to do here is we're going to put a line up this edge just like so, okay, and then on the following side we're gonna go like this, okay, and then we're gonna bring this one up and bring this down, okay, and then from there what we're gonna do is bring this one down just like so. This one goes up, this one goes up, that one goes across, that goes down, that goes up, this goes up, this goes down. And here we've got the workings of a triangle. So all I want you to do, guys, in today's lesson is to pick a 3D shape on Google and to recreate that in your sketchbook, just to basically get an understanding of where sort of light angles are coming from, okay? And that's it, people. You could do a 3D illusion if you want, or you can just do something as simple as one of these squares or one of these triangles, something very straightforward, okay? Just to get you to the point where you understand how to create these sort of geometric shapes and just to experiment and explore them a little bit. And that's going to be enough for today's lesson, guys. This has been lesson 18. We've been looking at 3D forms. In the next lesson, lesson 19, we're going to be looking at observational drawing in some more detail. We're going to be looking at illustrative drawings in a bit more detail. After that, it'll be painting. Then we're going to do like a final summary of everything we've learned so far. And then after that, guys, we're going to be starting personal projects, okay, whereby I'll be giving you some tasks and giving you some big tasks to sort of create your own personal projects whilst I create my own personal projects. And then we'll basically get onto the path of creating and developing our own artwork and then increasing the standards and skill level as time goes on. Okay, well, thanks very much for watching. As always, I always appreciate you guys watching these videos. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Always helps the channel and I very much appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.